Stacey, hello.
Max, actually, you know, over 20% of the UK population in a recent poll think that Tony Blair should be tried for war crimes. But I want to mention Bono because you did bring him up. He's going to Haiti to sponsor some sort of a charity tour for the people of Haiti. But this first headline really shows you all that is wrong with the world. Cruise ship docks at private beach in Haiti for barbecue and water sports. Just a couple hundred yards from the utter devastation of the tens of thousands of bodies lying piled up in the center of Port-au-Prince. Royal Caribbean parked there one of these cruise ships, and the people went to the beach and were swimming on the beach, surrounded by armed security and 12-foot fences to keep them from the population of Haiti.
Well, it's a perfect metaphor for the global economy, isn't it? The financial terrorists on Wall Street in the City of London have engineered a massive wealth transference from the millions and hundreds of millions and billions to their Christmas bonus season. Included in that is all the money that was, taken out of Haiti over the years. Of course, we know the story there. And when this earthquake hit, of course, so much of the ecological infrastructure had been wasted away, and the tragedy was compounded in a way that is just incalculable. And now you've got these elites. I presume some of the Goldman Sachs bankers were probably on the cruise ship, roasting some weenies and watching the devastation that they themselves were in part responsible for.
Well, I think it also shows that we're in revolutionary times, that people, it's this notion of let them eat cake it has infected everybody, not just the elites, not just Goldman Sachs, but the middle class, the upper middle class, anybody who has any access to credit remaining. Right. Now, the next headline.
Oh, by the way, before we get into the next headline, let me just point something out. I noticed that on Twitter, I've got twice the followers that you have on Twitter. Max Keiser on Twitter has got twice the followers as Stacey Herbert on Twitter. What do you think about that, Stacey Herbert? What does it say about the state of the Keiser report?
Well, I think there will be a revolution going on between us soon, at least a civil war. But that brings me to the next headline. Barack Obama unveils a $90 billion Wall Street crisis levy. Now, they're calling this the Financial Crisis Responsibility Fee, and he's levying a fee onto the 50 biggest banks, including 15 foreign ones, and over 10 years, he's expecting to raise $90 billion.
Ooh, $90 billion over 10 years. Look, did Exxon ever pay for Exxon Valdez? No. Did the tobacco companies are negotiating now not having to pay any of the penalties that they paid? That's right. Is Wall Street going to have to pay any of the penalties at this fakakta $90 billion chump change, stupid penalty? Look, Barack Obama should understand that you negotiate with somebody before the deal, not after. When Hank Paulson was in front of Congress extorting $700 billion from the American taxpayer, that's when Barack Obama should have stepped in, or somebody should have stepped in and said, wait a minute, there has to be some strings attached. You just can't rape America for $700 billion, which became $11 trillion, and expect no accountability. But that's exactly what happened. Now he's saying it a year later that he wants some accountability. Well, the guy, they should change his name to Barack Bonehead. Barack Bonehead.
Well, it's $90 billion over 10 years, so $9 billion a year. Now, to put this into context, you have to look at the next headline I have. Banker bonuses will be record $145 billion this year.
In 1 year.
In 1 year.
Right.
Just the top 4 banks, the too big to fail, are collecting $100 billion.
So that $90 billion over 10 years, the bankers are paying themselves over $1 trillion.
That's right.
Almost $1.5 trillion.
Well, many of the banks are actually paying themselves more in bonus than they actually earned in revenue. Now, in this article, talking about banker bonuses being a record $145 billion, a corporate lawyer is quoted defending the practice. And he says, quote, "You can't just say there is a lot of populist anger out there, so we are not going to compensate our executives who worked hard to recover shareholder value."
Yeah, what's populist anger? Well, you could ask the French back there during the French Revolution, or the Americans during the American Revolution, or how about the Icelandic people during the Icelandic Revolution right now against their financial terrorist banking oligarchs in London. The populist uprise, of course. Uprise?
Well, it also goes with that whole revolutionary time I was telling you about in the beginning, where you have these people on the Royal Caribbean cruise line, enjoying cocktails while tens of thousands of bodies are piled up in one location.
Right.
But here's this guy who is sounding like Marie Antoinette, the very last words she had as well, of like, we can't just alter our lifestyles. We can't stop our parties just because of the populist anger outside.
Who's this bonehead again?
It's an unnamed corporate lawyer.
Unnamed corporate lawyer. Let's find out who that... Go to WikiLeaks or someplace. Find out who this guy is.
So next, I have a little video of Barack Obama and his response to not only this banker bonus issue, but the fact that these bankers are now lobbying against the levy, the financial crisis responsibility levy.
The very same firms reaping billions of dollars in profits and reportedly handing out more money in bonuses and compensation than ever before in history are now pleading poverty. It's a sight to see.
So another moment. It's a sight to see, he says.
Oh, Barack Obama.
That's right. You
He
just
says,
watched it.
It's a sight to see. This guy is like at the global financial terrorist petting zoo. He's just like petting the terrorists on Wall Street in the city of London and saying, oh, bad, aren't you cute and furry and cuddly? What is up with this guy? He's got to be the most ineffective president America's ever had. He's an empty suit.
Well, Max, no president, it doesn't matter if it was John McCain and his tough guy image, no president is going to be allowed to alter the fact that their paymaster is the bankers. They can't go around it. Nobody can. So this is all he can say. This is all he is allowed to say. It wouldn't matter if it was John McCain or Sarah Palin or Joe Biden.
Right.
They're going to have to say it's a sight to see, and we're not going to be able to do anything else about it. Now let's go to the next little video I have, and this is Timothy Geithner, the Treasury Secretary of the United States of America, and he was on CNBC being questioned about this practice. And the journalist asked him first, like, is there something morally wrong with bankers? And Timothy Geithner refused to answer the question. Basically, he talked about all the poor Americans and all these Americans on food stamps. And then the journalist asked him about the banker bonuses.
It is inexplicable. People can't understand why that is fair.
But you understand it because you know this culture. Why is it happening?
I don't understand it really. I really don't understand it.
Unexplicable. Is that a word?
I'm not sure, actually. Maybe you should look it up online.
I don't think so. I thought this guy went to an Ivy League school. I thought he was part of the establishment. I thought he's from the same town I grew up in, Larchmont, New York. You would think he knew what a word unexplicable doesn't exist. This guy is a shame to people in Larchmont, New York, and around the world. I'm ashamed as an American to be associated with this nincompoop, Tim Geithner, who's obviously part of the financial terrorist network.
Well, I want to talk about the fact that the mysteries of the market are unexplainable. The mysteries of bankers are inexplicable. Nobody can understand them. But we can understand the terrorists, the poor people in Haiti, all the need to control all Americans, that they're not safe, they can't take care of themselves. Those are all explicable. They understand what everybody else needs, but they can't understand bankers. They're a mysterious, separate force outside of society.
Right. Well, this is the whole Lloyd Blankfein defense, that they're doing God's work, which is why I say you have to equate these guys with any terrorist who claims they're doing God's work, and they refuse to give any details. They just say, oh, we're blowing ourselves up because we're doing God's work. And Blankfein and Geithner and Paulson say, well, we're blowing up the economy, we're doing God's work. No, the bottom line is they're greedy, and they're just stealing money. And there's nobody in government who, including Obama, who's put any enforcing the laws to stop wholesale thievery and theft, and that's tyranny. And tyranny, by definition, in the Constitution of the U.S., deserves the extreme measures as articulated in that document.
Well, and it also would suggest, I mean, this man ran the New York Fed. He was the president of the New York Fed for years. He was supposed to be overseeing these people, and now he's supposed to be overseeing the entire banking system in America as the head of the Treasury. And yet he doesn't, these people are mysterious to him. Imagine going to your oncologist and talking to them about cancer, and they say, well, actually, it's a mystery to me. I have no idea what cancer is about or how to control it.
It's arbitrage. You see, they're arbitraging their insider manipulation and their insider trading with the overall stupidity that is manufactured by Fox News and these media outlets and CNBC and Jim Cramer. And between the two, they steal billions of dollars. It's an intelligence arbitrage. It's classic intelligence arbitrage. The people are fed absolute nonsense, and Geithner and his insiders work on a separate network of intelligence, and they use it to inside trade and manipulate grossly.
Well, I have two final headlines to get through, and that is Move Your Money. This is a campaign started by Arianna Huffington, and because Tim Geithner and because President Obama and because Senator McCain and all these people cannot do anything for the American people, they refuse to stand up to the bankers. The people of America are trying to respond in their own way, and this is one of the campaigns to move your money out of the big four, too big to fail banks and into local community banks. Now, the next headline I have that goes along with this is from the Washington Post, and they kind of mock this campaign. They say, quote, ordinary Americans lack the power to hurt the big banks. And they said the reason why this is so is that the ordinary Americans only have, on average, $4,000, and that it's just too complicated to move from one bank to the other. So they won't do it.
We're going to talk about this when we come back from the break.